Alright, let's unbox some books from CGC. I am talking about Black Cat, John Constantine, Wolverine, and also Star Wars. Stay tuned. Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this video, we are going to take a look at some books that just showed up from CGC. I honestly cannot remember when I sent these books in, but it was probably several months ago. The really cool thing, however, is that the bottleneck really occurred with the cleaning and the pressing. The actual grading, encapsulation, shipping process was much faster. The books were checked in to CGC right before Thanksgiving, and then the books were mailed to me on the 6th of December. So a relatively short period of time for the whole grading process. It was the cleaning, pressing that took a lot more time. With that said, with all that boring stuff out of the way, let's take a look at a couple of really awesome books. The very first book that I pulled out of the box was this one right here. It is Swamp Thing issue number 37. This is the first full appearance of John Constantine, and for folks that have watched the channel for a long period of time, you know that this book was actually spotted by a couple of viewers of the channel. I was going through the 100K collection and did not see this book. It was actually faced in the opposite direction from me. I pulled it out of the bin, did not turn it around. It was a couple of subscribers that actually spotted the book, made me aware of what they think that they saw. I went to go look for it. Sure enough, it was Swamp Thing issue number 37. So we sent this book in. It came back at a 9.4 with white pages. I will tell you that it is a pretty nice copy of this book, but I think there are a couple of spine ticks on or line breaks or what stress lines, whatever they call them now, on that left-hand side, but generally a pretty decent book. This next book is a really awesome book. I actually have 3 copies of this book, and this by far was the nicest of the ones that I sent in. I had hoped that this one was going to come back at a 9.8. It did not. We scored a 9.6, however, which is big. That is big if you consider what this book is. This is Spectacular Spider-Man issue number 90, the first black costume in title. There is also a Black Cat appearance in this book. There you go. You know, if you know about black covers, you know how tough it is to get one in a decent grade when not just the front cover is black, but the back cover is as well. So this one came back a 9.6 with white pages, a really cool book. I do believe that one also came out of the 100K collection. Again, I have multiple copies of it. It's hard to remember exactly where all of them came from. So this next one, the next 2 technically are from the 100K collection as well. I sent them in because they were different. These are different books. These are price variants, specifically Canadian price variants for Wolverine issue number 4. This is the limited series. And so the regular price for this book is actually 60 cents, but the Canadian price for this book was 75 cents. Again, a really awesome find in the collection. I don't think this book is worth a whole lot, but I felt like it was a cool book to send in. This is also a 9.6 with white pages. Really cool book right there. I think I have all of the limited series graded, but these are the only Canadian price variants that I was able to find. So here's the second one. This one actually came back a 9.4. Again, just a really cool thing. I don't believe a whole lot of price variants, Canadian price variants, but so it was cool to have found 2 of those in the collection. And what was crazy is I almost sold those books. I was looking at them, and I had a lot of the regular US version and then a couple of the Canadian, and I almost sold the Canadian version thinking that it was the US version. Neither here nor there. Speaking of books that I have multiple copies of, I actually found a lot of copies of this next book in the 100K collection. Sold all those off. I held this one to the side because I felt like it had a good shot at a 9.8. Sure enough, this is Star Wars issue number 10. It came back at a 9.8. And again, to the point that I was making about the Black Cat cover, a black front cover and a black back cover is really, really tough. This book came back again at a 9.8 with white pages. This is the first appearance of some character. I am not going to attempt to say that name, but I will put it on screen so you guys can check it out. But there you go. A couple of really cool books that showed up here at the house. One other thing that I will mention to you, I immediately noticed when I pulled these books out of the box that CGC had made some changes. CGC has actually upgraded the quality of their bags. Now, this may not seem like a really big deal, and technically it isn't, but I want to mention it because I honestly hate it. I hated the old bags. It's like a sock that doesn't fit quite right that also has a hole in the toe. That's what I feel like whenever I look at the old CGC bags and how my slabs looked in them. They have this new bag that is much thicker than the old. I think it fits slightly better. It is actually more opaque, which is maybe not a good thing, but I feel like the thicker bag will offer a little bit more protection than the cheaper bag that we had to deal with before. So again, if you get some slabs from CGC, let me know what you think of the bags. Again, not a big deal, but it was just a pet peeve of mine that I had to mention it. As soon as I pulled these books out and felt the plastic, I knew that something was different. With that said, we're going to wrap this video up. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and tap that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and that way you won't miss out on any of the content. If you need to reach out to me for any reason, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.